The words of Jesus in the gospel today are powerful words. The very sound of his voice, in the life of his early disciples, in the life of the early community as it was communicated to them by the apostles, reflected how he himself lived. That voice that echoed within his life, that voice of his Father echoing within his life, formed his own identity and somehow allowed the very presence of God to resound within him. And so his disciples, his followers, follow the voice of the Good Shepherd. Baptism is not really about the image of ourselves. Rather, it's about the image of God within us. Hopefully, in baptism, when we are immersed into those waters of baptism, we say we die and then we rise to new life. But we die to all of those false images which somehow we are invited by the world to be created in. The voice, however, of the Good Shepherd calls forth and touches something that is deeper within us, that is buried within us. And the voice of the Good Shepherd calls forth the very best, the deepest part of our life in us, so that we can create that relationship with God and that we can be recreated, that we can be reborn, and that somehow we can become the people who God says we are. This is how we come to know ourselves within the community of the church. Like Jesus, what we do and what we say hopefully is a reflection of who we are inside. It's in the name of Christ that our identity is formed. It's in the name of Christ that our community identity is formed. It's in the name of Christ that we do the work of Christ, the work of God within our world. You know, I can stand up here and I can quote the scriptures, or you can quote the scriptures. I can tell you the right things to do. I can look and we can sound very good, can't we, as a church on Sunday. We can preach the gospel to you and we can make all the right sounds. But the challenge, the greatest challenge, is to know ourselves from within and to be able to recognize the voice of the shepherd and how that voice sounds within us and how that voice echoes within our lives each and every day. The actions of our lives are Christ. The actions of our lives are Christ in us. It's no longer I who lives, but it's Christ who lives in me. That's the word of St. Paul. It is in Christ's name that we heal. It's in Christ's name that we forgive. It's in Christ's name that we do all of the good works that we do as a community, as individuals, as a church. It's only in Christ's name. And if we are true to that, then the voice of the shepherd resounds in us. Our young will hear that voice. Those disconnected from the church will hear that voice. Those who have lost their way will hear that voice. And from this community as a whole, The people who do not know Christ will come to know the voice of the shepherd, because that voice will resound from each and every one of you. And the voice that is heard will be one. It will be the voice